welcome back to my channel. All right, so this video reading is, what are others' first impression of you? So what did people think of you upon first meeting you, as opposed to what their impression of you is now, or what their impression of you is after they've gotten a chance to get to know a little bit more about you. So you're going to have 3 options to choose from. But before I get into which option is which, thank you to all of you who are subs to the channel. If you're brand new, hit the button, the sub button, as well as the bell notification, because I do drop videos weekly. Also, if you'd like to book a private reading, coaching, same-day read, walk-in read, priority reading, check that pin comment below, as well as the description box below. And yeah, just check out the pin comment as well as the description box. So let's get us 3 cards. So universe, spirit guides, and ancestors. For those who choose option number 1, what are people's first impressions of them? All right. For those who choose option number 2, what are people's first impression of them? Give me 1 card. And for those who choose option number 3, what are people's first impression of them? Give me 1 card. There we go. All right, so I'm going to hold these up. Let me see which was which. Okay. All right, so 3 cards to choose from. This is going to be option 1, option 2, option 3. Again, option 1, option 2, option 3. Pause this video, see which of these options you feel resonate with you most, then come to your reading. Again, 1, 2, 3. All right, option number 1, you have the 5 of Swords. So I feel like people upon first impression feel like you're someone who's very organized, for some of you, people may have felt that you're a bit calculating. You could have, it's quite a bit of glare. People may feel like you were a bit calculating. I feel like you often meet people in a business sense, or you meet a lot of people in a business sense. Like a lot of your important relationships, option number 1, surround business. So people feel like, like this has something to do with closing a deal, or making a deal, or collaborating with others. So people see you in a very serious light. Option number 1. That's their first impression. Let's get some more information. Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors. What are others' first impression about option number 1? Give me more. Give me 2 cards. What are others' first impression? We have the 9 of Pentacles, someone who's very self-sufficient. People may see you as someone who's very wealthy or very comfortable in your living, in your wealth arrangements and things of that nature. We have the Knight of, what is that? The Knight of Swords that came out in the upright. So essentially, people feel like you're very good at negotiations. People feel like you're very business oriented, and maybe you have a lot of success because of that business. You could be someone who talks about business work, financial matters, things like that a lot. And this is where people are getting that interpretation from. Option number 1. So let's see, how do people feel about you now? Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors. How do people feel about option number 1 now, as opposed to how they felt about them in the beginning? How do people feel about option number 1 now, as opposed to how they felt about them in the beginning? We have the 10 of Wands in the upright. We have the King of Wands in the reverse. And we have the 4 of Swords in the upright. Option number 1, people are a bit hesitant when it comes to your energy. I feel like, and once again, going back into the fact that the energy that I felt the strongest was that these are people that you're bonding with in maybe work efforts, or in regards to meeting them in a professional environment. But it feels like people are a bit standoffish, maybe a bit hesitant towards you, a bit reluctant to move forward, or maybe people have moved on from the connection because maybe it was short-lived. For some people, it may have been difficult for them to move on from the connection Because what I'm feeling is this more so cold energy option number one. Like more so, I feel like, yeah, it may be a situation of this is how people that you've worked with or do business with, kind of their impression of you and how they feel about you now, because it's not giving an emotional connection. It's not giving anything on a personal level. It's more so talking about, you know, this is the side of me, this is the parts of me that I'm going to allow you to see. This is what's appropriate for this. And then let's just push on. So people, in a way, they don't see you as cold, but they see you as someone who's very, you know, direct, very straightforward, very, this is this is that. And then outside of that purpose, you aren't trying to connect with that person anymore. They kind of see you as someone who is like, you know, very straightforward in those matters. And once, you know, once things have been fulfilled in the way that you intended or they intended, the two of you just kind of move forward. So that's what I have for you, option number one. You all let me know if that resonated for you in the comment section. Said that backwards. In the comment section below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, book a private reading. Pin on below as well as the description box below. And let's move on to option number two. So option number two, what are people's first impressions of you? You have the 9 of Wands that came out in the upright. People feel like you're very strong. You're someone who's very protective. You're strong-willed. You're very resilient. People may have witnessed you go through a fight or a struggle, but they've seen you overcome. So I feel like people feel like, you know, you're someone who's very strong. Also, I feel like people feel like you're someone who's very compassionate. Option number two. Like, people feel like you have a lot of compassion. You show a lot of grace. You have a lot of patience. Even in times where, you know, it may have seemed like, oh, wow, I wouldn't be able to deal with that. Or you wouldn't be able to deal with that. You know, or people putting themselves in your shoes, like I wouldn't be able to do what option number two could do. But people feel like you're someone who can take a lot of punches, but you don't back down. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, taking a lot of punches and not backing down. However, though, they feel like, you know, you aren't easily removed from your stance. You're someone who may be very loyal. People read that from you from the beginning. Now, here's the other thing that I'm getting, option number two. I feel like because people may have read that you're someone who's very loyal and someone who stands strong and stand firm, you may have attracted a lot of, I want to say, predatory energy towards you, vulturous energy towards you, because people know that, you know, you're very loyal and you won't back down. But let's get more. Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors, thank you for the channel messages. What are people's first impression of option number two? Give me 2 cards. We have the 6 of Swords in the upright. We have the 6 of Pentacles in the upright. So essentially, I feel like people may have come in and out of your life to use you. You're someone who they see as very generous. But at the same time, it kind of feels like people may have gotten what they needed out of you, what they wanted out of you, and moved forward. For some of you, this is hitting hard in regards to maybe relationships. You know, maybe dealing with someone, they got what they needed out of you. It was a one-sided connection, and then they move forward. So people perceive you as someone who's very kind, very gentle, very nice. But unfortunately, for a good number of you, it's caused others to be, you know, I want to say misuse. You know, I want to say abusive, but misusive of you, because not everybody is dealing with abuse, but definitely being misused by someone. We have the 8 of Cups in the reverse, and we have the 2 of Cups. I feel like people definitely, upon first meeting you, feel like, you know, you'd be great for partnership because you're someone who's very compassionate with this 8 of Cups. You care. You look at the fine details. You do worry. You worry about how it's going to affect, how something is going to affect you and those that are involved. Like, you do care about all people and all parties involved. So definitely this, you know, this is what draws people in towards you, but at the same time, it draws a lot of toxic energy. That's what I'm getting with that one. So let's see. What are people's impression of you after they've gotten to know you? What are their impressions of you now? Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors, think of it, channel messages. What are people's impressions of option number 2 after they've gotten to know them? What are their impressions now? Give me 2 cards. Give me 2 cards. We have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Four of Pentacles in the upright. People now see that you're someone who's very controlled. Your patience is definitely something that, you know, is a part of your power play. You're someone who's very intelligent. You're someone who doesn't abuse their power with others, their influence with others. You know how to, you know, get people to listen to you. You know, you're someone who definitely observes a situation carefully before you make a decision. Option number 2. Like, people now see, essentially people get to know that they can't play with you. Option number 2. That's what I'm getting with that. I feel like a lot of people feel there's a lot of misinterpretation of you and your character. Option number 2. But essentially what people get to know is that they can't play with you. That's what I'm getting with that one. Unfortunately though, option number 2, it does come about a bit too late that people realize that they should have taken you more seriously, or they should have appreciated you. However though, it's all for your best. It's all for protection. You rather people show you who they are, you know, in the beginning, and then essentially leave your life, or you have to get them out of your life, than to have them there for years lying and waiting and taking advantage. So that's what I have for you, option number 2. So you all let me know how you felt about this in the comment section below. Give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe. Book a private reading with me. Coaching same day, read, walk, and read, priority reading. Check the pin comment below as well as the description box below. And let's move on to our third option. Option number 3. You have the Two of Wands that came out in the upright. I just heard the words, people feel like upon first meeting you, you could be a bit flighty. I definitely feel like your top priority is self, which is not a bad thing, especially when dealing with, you know, strangers, or, you know, just in general, even with family and friends. You know, placing yourself first and then placing a priority on others after you feel secure within self. It's always a good way to go, because you don't want to people please. But definitely people can see that energy. They can see like, okay, option number 2 is not pinned down to any one thing. You know, like, they need some convincing. So essentially people feel like they have to win you over in the beginning. Option number 2. I mean, excuse me, I said option number 2. Option number 3. We're on option number 3. People feel like they have to win you over. Option number 3. So let's get more information. Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors. What are people's first impressions of option number 3? What are people's first impressions of option number 3? We have the 2 of Coins. In the reverse, we have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. And then we have this card that I use it as a joker. I'm not even sure if it is a joker for this card, but for this deck, but I use it as a joker, which essentially is the Fool. So we got the Fool, we got the 2 of Cups. We have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. We got the 5 of Cups in reverse. People see you as someone who's very optimistic, someone who takes a lot of chances. You're willing to take a leap. You're willing to see what life has in store for you. You're willing to stumble and take a risk, and people definitely admire this about you. You may seem a bit imbalanced at times, but it's because you're always thinking. Option number 3. You're likely an air sign. Option number 3. Very heavy on the Aquarian energy. Very heavy on maybe some Libra energy there. And then, of course, Gemini. But essentially, you're someone who, you know, you definitely think about the consequences, in the sense of, you know, if it's something where you know absolutely is going to cause hurt, harm, or danger, you are not going to go forth. But if it's something where it's like, hey, I may fail, I may stumble, I may fall, but that is okay. I definitely feel like people see that. They see you as someone who's very brave. They want to win you over. You have a lot of people that like to be friends with you. Option number 3, because you're very inspiring. And that's people's first impression of you. So let's see what their impression of you is after they get to know you. What is their impression of you now? Universe, spirit guides, and ancestors, thank you for the channel messages. What are people's impression of option number 3 after they get to know them? What are people's impression of option number 3 after they get to know them? We have the 3 of Swords. Ooh. In the upright, what are people's impression of option number 3? We have the 3 of Wands. Oh, wow. I feel like people are constantly longing for you. That's what I'm getting with that. you may break people's hearts, or the expectation that people have out of what they want from you doesn't really pan out. That's what I get with that one. People, I feel like upon meeting you, people have this expectation of you. Option number 3, maybe you don't live up to the expectation that they have. Maybe it's like, oh, I saw, this in this person, but that's not who they are. I do kind of feel like you are a bit of a wild card for sure. Option number 3. And it causes some type of, conflict within others when they realize, like, wait, I don't have option number 3 figured out. So I feel like essentially people can't figure you out, and it leads to people maybe being a bit disappointed, because maybe there's times where people feel closer to you than they actually are, or you feel closer to others than you actually are. And it serves as some type of disruption later on down the line. But I don't feel like it's conflict, option number 3. Like, you're not conflictual or confrontational, rather. That's what I'm getting with that one. Give me one more. What are people's impression of option number 3 after they get to know them? What are people's impression of option number 3? We have the 4 of Wands. You're someone who's very committed. Once again, a lot of patience here with this 3 of Wands. Someone who's very patient, very committed. Also, maybe someone who goes through a lot of pain. That's what I'm getting with that too. I feel like option number 3, you may show people, the positive representative in the beginning, and then when they see this 3 of Swords, it's like, oh, option number 3 definitely goes through a lot that they don't talk about, that they're not open about, that they're not vulnerable about, unless they feel very close to you. And then we have the King of Pentacles. People feel like you're someone who's very secure, very comfortable, very well taken care of, and very nurturing, very caring. So I do feel like there's this aloofness, there's this coldness yet fun aspect to you in the beginning of people that draws people into you. But then when people get to know you, it's like, oh, option number 3 is a whole human being with, hopes, dreams, aspirations, fears, insecurities, and the whole deal. So that's what I got for you, option number 3. So you all, let me know how you felt about this reading in the comment section below. Give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe. My lunch break is almost over, so I'm doing this because I had the hankering to do so. I just felt like doing a reading, y'all. So you all let me know how you felt about this in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be seeing y'all on the next one. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.